the hopeless, control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners, coaching, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coaching, yeah. We winners, coaching. It's all said and done.
What's going on, y'all? It's just JJ. Welcome to Who's Hiring, cultural commentary for the creatively employed. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We gonna get right into it. Oh, I forgot. I gotta do it again. I forgot y'all.
You forgot everybody.
Your co-host?
Yeah, I forgot everybody.
Nigga said I gotta do it again. I forgot y'all.
No, we leaving that in. Go ahead.
We're leaving it in, right? Introduce us though.
We got Diamond Durant. We got Amani is Faith. We got Riz. We got Jay Duce in the building. How is everybody feeling today?
Sorry, it's Diamond A.
Okay, I'm
I just
sorry.
want you to know that. Just like Taraji P. Henson.
You're
So like, just remember.
I didn't know you was branded. I didn't know you was fully branded now.
I mean, it's literally my name on everything.
But I didn't know you was fully branded. Now that I know that you walking and stepping into the brand, I'm gonna never make that mistake again. She been a boss for 2 months. She been talking different.
Never make that mistake again. My name's still wrong on my email.
And his last 2 months, his name is his real name on the email.
No.
It's wrong.
It's incorrect.
It's wrong.
It's his real. It's the name that's on his license.
I don't care which. It's still wrong.
This is what I can't get with y'all millennials. Everybody always changing their name to be what they
be what
they want. Everybody always want to change something.
Your mom ain't named you. It's just JJ. I know that's, but I'm sure your mom did not name you. It's just
they
JJ.
did name me JJ. JJ is damn near my government name at this point. The reason, every single person I got called JJ from the time I came out the womb to this day right here. You will never hear my mom call me my first name.
They called you JJ as a baby?
As a baby. They've never called me my first name ever in my life.
I also will always call you JJ.
My first name.
I forgot you had a different name. And
What's
so you just said,
what's your first name?
Ooh, that's a little federal.
Wait, tell us and can we block it out?
You see how I feel? That's all I ask.
Wait, I never even thought about
you got a regular name though.
Bro, my whole life, your whole story is my life. What do you like? You want because I have other names besides my middle name?
I seen people call you. I met you as your real name.
No, you have not.
Yes, I did.
Who called me that?
In the office.
Maddie does not call me that. I call Miss Maddie right now.
It wasn't Maddie though. It was the rest of your friends.
The rest of my friends.
It was the rest of your friends.
Leave Miss Maddie out of this.
Bro, I'm about to just type in my first name in my phone and nobody comes up.
He's trying to prove a point. That's not a point. Like, it's cool, bro. You can.
I type in my first name. Other niggas come up.
I never even thought about Riz not being his name.
Right.
Now I'm
No, Riz is the name that got the sauce
fits.
on it for sure, and it do fit. Like,
yeah, it fits you
for sure.
But like, I always just thought his name was Riz.
Now
Never
it's
even thought about him having an actual name.
Talking about Riz full name Charisma.
Yeah.
the crazy part is the whole opposite direction. Like, there's no.
It's a little slight correlation.
Is that where the word Riz comes from? Like why the kids say, I didn't know that.
Yes, Charisma.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder if they know that.
Look at you.
They do.
Yeah, I think some
They
of them
did it on. They was intentional with that. I give them that. They was intentional with that.
I think that was a Casanat thing. I think the same way like the Huz and Riz, I think that was all from stream culture.
Yeah, definitely from stream culture. I don't know if that was DDG.
Niggas really invented words. Like
and make them up all the time.
What
Keep making them up.
Otta.
I can't wait till the next to the next batch of Philly slang. Every time
ain't that the Otta? Don't they be saying?
That's the new zone. Otta.
That's a new thing right now.
Yeah, it's like an
I
Otta.
don't know how far it's gonna go, but it's definitely.
What do you
popular.
mean?
I'm not hearing
when
it. What
you
they
use
mean?
it.
Still
I have
learning.
no idea.
He said we're still learning.
It be so confusing.
He said I'm not in
It
there
do be
with
taking
him.
some time. The
It be
first time you hear
confusing.
some new shit.
My little cousin be like, cause the little Otta. I be like, huh? I'm like, what? Yeah, it's confusing.
I got here. It was. I'm trying to think. It was one of them words that took a little while. Ard took me a little while to get really with it. ARD. Like in the
That's funny. That's a natural one.
That's funny as shit.
What's going on?
Hold on. How did art was far for you to get like down with? He was like, all right. No, guys, it is all right.
No.
Why would we shorten that?
No, when Art first started coming through, it was like, is it an acronym? Because at the same time we had be back later or be right back, and we had
So
all
you thought
these.
it was ARD, like it stands for
Yeah,
something.
Oh, you thought it was like T9 text. You thought it was like.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay.
I thought it was one of the Jones, but
Interesting.
Art was just like okay.
Speaking of
So why you
slang,
ain't say okay?
my favorite is You the
alright.
Birthday. I love
that
that.
one?
You the Birthday is just so funny because it could really be a compliment or an insult. Like
Over in
That whole trend had me confused. I clicked on it and niggas
It's
was
so
big.
funny.
Yo, I
like
seen
niggas
it.
was
they
shooting.
said you
Jokes.
getting beat on You the Birthday pinata.
I seen
Niggas
it.
was in a circle shooting their coworkers. Like, yo, it's like that whole thing is
So
crazy.
funny. You
It's the
heated You the
English
Birthday
teacher's
candle.
dream. Niggas is really out here just coming up with metaphors off the cuff. Like that's really what's happening.
Right.
I seen a thread, and the thread was like a man took a woman on a date, and before the date he said, "I'm gonna go get a manicure, a pedicure, and get some and get some new cologne." And she texted him back like, "Okay, you the birthday." He said he canceled the date. Like he said, "What?" He said he canceled the date.
I would have been hollering. No, he is the birthday.
He said
Right.
he said he felt like you taking it too far. Like, why? What, a man can't care about themselves? Like,
He is.
So you don't
I
even know
didn't
whether
know
the
shit,
context
though.
of You the Birthday was a
All I ever
insult
saw
or
was it mean a
compliment.
bid though. That's why I feel him
Yeah.
on that. Like,
But
it's only been a bid.
it can
to
be
me.
a bid, but it also can be a compliment. Like You the Birthday, like it's like it's
It
a
don't.
good thing.
It was
Just
shut
how you
out.
said it don't feel complimentary.
But when you say it to a man,
I
when you're
didn't feel
saying it
like
to
you.
a man,
I
most
didn't
times
feel
it's
hit
an
like, oh my
insult.
god,
the
I'm
women in the
birthday.
the women in the
Insecure,
comments were
but-
saying that it was a
Yeah.
compliment. All the women were saying she was
Yeah.
trying to compliment you. She was trying to say that you take care of
Yeah,
yourself.
she was.
To be honest,
they
he was
trying to fight
insecure
in the
and they
crowd.
wasn't going to get along because she was going to be joking the whole date and he was going to be insecure the whole day. That was,
He was already being
Yeah, he
well
already
sassy
get called
with his
metrosexual for
manicure,
getting his
pedicure.
manicure,
She said you
pedicure.
the birthday match.
Is it sad? Is it sad?
He
But
was
is
really
it-
testing her waters. Like,
is
yo,
it-
you about to draw when I let you know.
Yeah, that's true. He
Is
probably
it
was
sassy
testing her
for
water.
a man to get a manicure and a
Not to
pedicure?
get it, but to
To
announce it.
announce it is the-
Listening for.
Go take
But he was
care of
inviting her. But he was inviting her. A certain type of woman and a certain type of man, that's a perfect
That would be
pre-date
cool.
activity.
That would
That's
be
just a
cool.
certain
Shit,
type
all
of
the
woman.
time.
You gotta
If
find
If you
somebody
haven't
who
gotten
works
your
for
nails and
you.
feet done with your
Yeah,
girl,
yeah.
please do it. It'll help
Yeah.
out everyone.
Okay,
I've been trying to
okay.
get JJ to come get his feet done with me
Oh,
for
he
a
doesn't?
minute.
You
For a
would- yeah.
minute.
You got to, JJ.
If we
no.
ever go out of the country, just know,
Yeah, no,
Just know.
I'm not even against it.
just
Like,
know I'm locking you in there with them.
I
Like,
was a
you
heavy
can't
when I
leave
was an
till it's out.
athlete. I was a weekly massage ball. Like I was steady in it.
Well, yes, sir. That's called
Yeah, that's
strength
a
and
different
conditioning.
thing.
What
That's
is-
definitely a
function.
different thing.
that is not you doing it for leisure.
It's not, but what I'm saying is I'm not opposed to nothing that like we just watched LeBron James.
Did you do the
like,
yoga when you was in the?
Yeah, I did.
You did, and
I
did
did
ballet
yoga.
too?
I didn't do ballet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's beyond my capacity as a
They
human.
gassed that. As dancers when we were young, they were like, the football players all take ballet to practice their ballet. That's what they used to say.
That's not a thing. But anyway, back to the check-in.
never
How's everybody
checked in.
feeling? Give us a little quick rundown of your week, how we got to this point. Before we get into it, I'll go first. I had a good week. It was really just a regular business week, taking meetings and cutting videos and talking to people and things like that. I know some other people on this panel have had some more eventful weeks, so we'll get into that.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you know what I'm talking about. I don't know why you act like I don't.
Yeah,
What's
okay.
going on? Like
So like
You heard it or she? No, let her get it off. Why you looking at me? Like there's nothing
at
special here.
a certain point, Diamond A. Durant is gonna have to get used to some attention. Like
crying. I'm crying. Yeah. No, I had a pretty eventful week. You're right. I was producing the Philadelphia Creator Summit yesterday. It was good. I mean, y'all know how
It was good.
yeah, like you know how event production is. Like when you're in it, you're moving
Yeah.
so fast to where you don't feel it, but once it's over, you're like, yay, we did that. So that's really like the feeling that I have. I don't miss working on events. I was extremely tired. My ankles were swollen. I was running around, cursing people out, catching attitudes all day. So I'm exhausted, but I'm happy. So shout out to everybody who came out because there were some good sessions.
shout
You're
out to
not even
happiness.
24 hours removed. Like you need more time than
No,
that to
literally.
reflect positively on a event.
Exactly. Come back to
You
me
still
next
supposed to be
week.
up the high. It was a success, so you supposed to be up there high still. Like
Yeah.
yo,
But well, the thing about it is when you, which I'm trying to do a better job of, is when you are producing events like that, sometimes you don't get to enjoy it
Yeah.
how other people are. So you don't know, like when people ask how did it go, you're only speaking from like the behind the scenes stuff that people never saw. You're like, oh, I guess it went okay. But then at the end, that's why I say it's always better at the end, because people will come up to you and be like, oh my God, I had such a good time, or like, that was amazing. But I'm not sitting in on the sessions. If I am, the whole time they're talking, I'm not thinking about what they're talking about. I'm thinking they got 10 more minutes. They got 10 more minutes. I'm waiting for him to look at me so I can tell him he got 10 more minutes. Like, that's all you're thinking about. So you're not really enjoying it how everybody else enjoys it, which I need to do a better job of, like working and enjoying it at the same time.
I think it's how you treat it after too in your entrepreneurship away. Like how you celebrate yourself matters. Like there ain't no one coming to throw you no pizza party, so you gotta do it for yourself.
Facts.
And in the moment, especially with event production, like you kind of the event happening is the thank you. Like like this shit, the lights are on, everyone's here. I think that's when you can now you managing while you in the event still is definitely going to add the stress on, but. I definitely think like getting to the, because there's so many things that don't ever get to fruition, like so many events, programs, things around the city, playgrounds getting redone. Like when you actually get to do something good for a community, because like a lot of that we didn't even discuss what it was. I wish we could. Can you tell the audience what you? No.
What the event was? No, what the event was?
Yeah, what the event was.
Oh yeah. So
and who was because a lot of people got like situations like put on a certain platform. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. So the event was by the Peacekeepers Institute for Journalism. They actually throw this summit every year. This is probably like their 4th or 5th year. But yeah, they intentionally this year wanted to expand it to be more for all types of creators instead of just like news creators, because we know like journalism is like a weird space now and is different than what it used to be back then. Like a lot of even news, people who work in news are content creators to some extent, because you kind of have to be now. That's how people get their information, through content. So a lot of people are not just like traditional reporter behind the desk anymore. So that's what like the event was for, was to really talk about certain niche topics that are either news related or journalism related, but specifically tailor that to where it could apply to all creators. So it was a cool event. It was like huge podcasters like David Shands was there. He led a session on how to build a successful podcast engine. And then there was the keynote speaker was Datavio Samuels, who's the CEO of Revolt, but also has his own media company called Off Script Worldwide. Yeah, that was like the keynote combo. I really enjoyed that combo. I know Imani and JJ were there, but yeah, I thought something cool that he said that I'll share here was that he doesn't take meetings before 11 a.m. He wakes up like taking intentional space for himself to be creative and to pour into himself before he kind of like starts pushing any of his like creativity, before he starts taking meetings. Like he's just kind of like to himself and taking that intentional time. And I was like, that's a little nugget that I might take with me and start applying. So I like that.
I actually tried that once this week. Like before the talk, I had one day where I told myself, like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to take one of these books off of my shelf, I'm going to read some poetry while I like eat my breakfast before I open up this laptop, before I start. Because I these days wake up and immediately start thinking about what I have to do. Like no space between your dreams and your to-do list whatsoever. And I'm like, that's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. And it just makes you feel like you're running on a treadmill from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to sleep. So I was intentional about that one day this week, and it was nice. But I think hearing him say that that's his routine day after day, I'm like, I gotta get deeper. I gotta get deeper into that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, Grace though, you still work. Like you still got 9 to 5. So like in that person's life, his 9 to 5 seems way more of his own
Creation.
situation. Like, why don't?
But when you work for yourself, you can still do that. Like, this is the day. I'm taking meetings at this time and stuff like that. When did he allow? Because he did say like when when it allows. So obviously, if there's something work related where it's like, oh, we got to meet at 10 a.m. I'm sure he'll get on. But I think that's just like, I like that. I think it's very intentional.
From being at the event, the 3 sessions that I went to was one, how to grow your YouTube channel. That was a good one. The person speaking on how to grow your YouTube channel, his 3 key points was, who is your ideal viewer, what's familiar with a unique twist, and build a relationship with your audience like you're a broadcast station. So the same way that, a TV channel has the same programming at the same times, and at the same way like people can count on that is the same way the same way that YouTube ranks things along with the thumbnail and the header. use that as the same way a newspaper would. Like if you were putting out a newspaper, would somebody pick up your newspaper, and that's dependent on what's the picture on the front and what's the title on it. And so I thought, that could be, standard stock information, but I think that it was good to bring that to the front of mind. Another good one was David Shands. And David Shands, who's a prolific podcaster at this point. David Shands is somebody who came up around the same time as Earn Your Leisure, but David Shands, one of his main points was to be an authority. What you have to do is get good at teaching the problem. And I thought that was such a great way to articulate what you're trying to do as a content creator and why it sticks. And he gave an example of using his teleprompter app in the edits for Instagram and just running a problem through ChatGPT, and he did it live. And it really made it seem like he positioned himself as the expert in environmental science at that moment just by putting it in ChatGPT. And then just going from there, Will spoke on some of the ways that we could add depth to the ease of being able to make this content accessible because of the need for more Black voices, more Black storytelling, and more Black journalism. So I thought David Shands was really good. And then to Diamond's point, Detavio Samuel from Revolt, I really like how he talked about the building of relationships with creators is like Revolt's first thing. Like they'll come invest in you where you at to let you know that kind of we have your back before we get into this, more businessy type situation where you sign to the record label type deal. Because it's necessary due to the death of traditional news and traditional outlets and things like that. So I thought like the event in totality had a lot of useful information. So shout out to the Linfest Institute and Love Now Media and everybody who had something to do with pulling that and bringing that together, because I do think that the people in attendance, you were able to find a unique angle on something or bring something to the forefront. So good job, y'all.
Yeah, shout out David Shane. That David Shane Social Proof Network. I bang with a lot what he has done on his podcast with certain platforms. I've given him a voice early, so I definitely bang that. Shout out to him for being there. He has a definitely interesting view on the business of the networking. So it's definitely, if you want to tune into that pod and see what he be talking about, social proof.
Money.
Before I get my update, I just want to say that the experience listening to particularly Tavio Samuels, but also David Shands talk was just really confirmation that the winners culture is built around and at a moment that makes sense. Like what we're trying to do makes sense, is needed. And I really want to tip my hats to the two of you for being like the people that see the media landscape in a bigger sense, because there's pieces and parts of what we're building that I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and expertise in, but it's definitely not the media industry part. And there's parts of it that even say like, why start a podcast? Why be a content creator? There's so much out there. It's oversaturated. Why do a network? This all takes so much work, whatever. But I feel like you two have consistently seen the bigger picture. And that second session that was literally about the bigger picture, it was so much that he was talking about that I was like, damn, that's what we trying to do. Like that's the play. And there's very few people, I think even in that room itself, very few people that bridge the gap between the creator and the infrastructure in the way that they were actually like articulating on that stage. So that was affirming. I had a crazy week, a busy week, but like lots of positives. I started the week off with the first session of the Peacekeepers Institute, which is the professional development academy I've been talking about building. And so it was day one where all of the selected peacekeepers were in the room for the first time. They met their instructors. The chief public safety officer, Adam Gear, came and spoke. So there was all this press, all this media, all this, like coordinating that event definitely involved so many moving pieces. And so in the same way of just like, I was glad that it was over. I was glad that it was over, but it was hugely successful. And now I just got to keep doing it every week for the rest of the year, basically.
And and we need the update on your keynote at CCP.
Oh yeah.
Right. That was, because we took off last week. So I gave my keynote address at CCP about 2 weeks ago. And that was another situation where I was like really nervous going into it. But when I got there, I felt like, nah, I'm here for a reason. I feel prepared. And it felt like speaking to a room of people that I understood and that I related to and resonated with, which helped calm me. It was like a room full of like Black and brown entrepreneurs that was just like, all right, no, you were chosen for a reason because you're speaking to people that need to hear from you. And I think it went really, really well. So shout out to Tiffany Spraggins Payne for inviting me to give that keynote address and to everyone who was in the room. So back to 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 back. I also had a really great conversation this week with Danielle Austin from Launchpad Philly, which is a workforce development program for teenagers that are interested in like technology and like careers in technology. So they train young people over the course of, I believe it's like a 2-year program to gain skills in coding, in AI, in all sorts of skills. And they have both the mechanism where they help young people get placed at jobs after the program, but they also have a mechanism by which they get contracts themselves. Like Launchpad gets contracts as a social enterprise and gives young people the opportunities to lead those projects on those contracts so that young people get exposure, portfolio building, all that. And she gave me a masterclass in our one-on-one. That was just like a casual, let's catch up, let's connect. But she shared so much helpful information about how to build a program that can meaningfully connect young people to employment opportunities. You teach them the skills, but then you also give them the opportunity to like get paid experience and like build wealth off of the skills that they've built. Like she literally gave me a masterclass. And so it's been 2 weeks that have been full of a lot applying to grants, just full packed to the brim. But they've been good opportunities at the same time.
Love that.
Excellent.
Yeah. Pretty much the same thing. As you guys were talking, I was trying to process my week, and it's really been like nonstop, filled with a lot of like valuable moments, but just nonstop. So like Monday, we had the grand opening for the driving range at Cobbs Creek Golf Course, which was really cool. So the mayor came through, Jason Kelsey came through, and a lot of just council people came through just to kind of show support for one, what it's doing for the community as far as restoring the creek and like environmentally making it healthier, but then also using those funds to keep the education center going and giving the public a way to now golf without having to deal with memberships or discrimination and things like that. So that was like a really big event. We talk about event planning, being behind the scenes, making things move, making sure people where they're supposed to be. Things are happening at the right timing. And when we did our ribbon cutting in September for the TGR portion, and like Tiger came and Secret Service came and all that, they learned a lot from what we did to then be able to make this one go a lot smoother. So that was cool. And then I also got to talk to, I met a few black men in the space because at first I wasn't sure how to move in this space. There's a lot of people who didn't look like me.
Yeah.
And they didn't understand my position. And I don't, I'm not sugarcoating who I am or what I look like. So I'm like, who do I talk to? And I found a few older black men who actually are hand in hand with a lot of people in the golf world. And they showed me a lot about just merchandising and how to scale your business and how to leverage business credit and things like that. So once I started having a conversation with them, I felt more comfortable and in the pocket. And then right after that, I had to finish my student portfolio for grad school. It's like a long list of things I had to do. So I'm like, all right, I couldn't even process that conversation before finishing the portfolio, then having to, actually go teach, and then on to the next day where we had our industry day. And then Councilman Isaiah Thomas came, which was really thorough because he said something to the kids about the power of voting. And he said, you don't let anyone choose your sneakers when you go to the store, right? You take your $100, pick what you want. Same thing when you go to the food, when you go to a grocery store or any place you get food, you pick what you want. So when they take money out of your taxes and you are paying for that, that is your reason to vote. Because if now you are not deciding what they do with your money, you're just letting people take your money and do what they want, as opposed to anything else you do in life. And I feel like that really hit home for the kids of like understanding why this election coming up is going to be really important for their future. And then Wednesday, I had to get back into the music world and go with the control rollout, which has been going really well. I feel like it's been real quality responses, not so much like on the quantity, and I'm okay with that because I feel like it's hitting for those that it needs to hit for, which is really cool. And then yesterday, not even 24 hours ago, my brother, DJ Mr. Geek, my DJ, got married to his fiance, lovely actress Tiffany. And that was a great event, just how they started it from start to finish. It was so them. Like Tiffany, if you guys know Tiffany, she is who she portrays on screen. She's a ball of energy. So they cracking jokes in the middle of their vows while also saying that they love you. So it's like we crying and laughing at the same time, and just being in a room filled with love and a lot of emotion is just, it makes you reflect on.
And the venue
life.
was real dope too. The venue was
Yeah, the Arts Ballroom and then the planetarium at the Franklin Institute. So they had
Fire.
two really cool
Fire.
venues, which is really cool. 'Cause that was their first date and everything. So it's cool.
fire.
You know what I'm saying? And seeing fellow creatives find love and figure out how to support each other on their creative journey, their familial journey, and all of that stuff. So
That's beautiful.
definitely a crazy week, and we still going. And we at the pod this morning. So
Right.
here we are.
Yeah.
Wow, guys. So their lives have been very interesting. Jay has been, grinding, being a dad, and a lot of things have reinforced things I've said this week. So that's been good, and things that you kind of know what you're talking about, and you kind of repeat, and then certain things in life they show up and show you that you're on the right path and right on. And I kind of been more vocal speaking to like my friends and loved ones this week. It was had some good convos. Who everybody go through their own fight and struggle, just find a good place to connect. But let's get right into it.
Okay. So the check-in question for today is, what's your opinion on remote work versus in-office work?
Oh, I ain't gonna last no more either. I'm going first. Y'all.
Okay, my fault.
I was outside. Niggas outside. I'm not that lineup. Did you just hear what happened? Did you go? No, this.
I didn't even mention.
Bleep this. Cause I bleeped that what I just said. But you go. I need to hear how your week was after.
I didn't even mention I was on stage in New York this week.
Yeah.
Like it just keeps getting bigger and better. Yeah.
You was dancing?
I was dancing. I was the lead in a showcase performance by a choreographer named Jamil Hendricks in Philly. And we traveled out there on Tuesday. I hit the stage that night and came back on Wednesday. Like, it was a week.
Now you can start. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know what I'm saying.
Okay, listen.
Well, you got to say something.
No.
Now.
So I went first. I let it be what it was, just because I understood what the
magnitude.
Certain time you gotta pass the ball, and I felt like that was one of the situations
and then
where
you pass it.
Where the best thing to do,
basketball, passing the ball. Football players. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. The best thing to do was pass the ball in that situation. It's a couple different things I could say, but also the things that I would say, it probably ain't time to say them at this point. So to the check-in question, right? Remote or in office. What are y'all opinions? Because another part to this question though is we just had like 3 different sectors of Philly are represented on this couch right now in terms of major event planning, major things that have happened in the city. What does it feel like to be at this junction in y'all careers where it's like I'm doing things that is really moving the needle in a specific way? I'm either the boss, right under the boss. I see what the boss look like. I know what it feel like to be the boss, or I am the boss. Like, what is it feeling like for y'all right now?
Is that the question, or is remote work the question?
No, it's 2 different questions. But I want to ask that first question because it came to my mind, and I feel like it's just necessary. I like how you being real deliberate in your you see what I'm saying, making sure we on the right track though.
What does it feel like? It feels,
and these don't got to be super long neither.
Yeah, it won't be. It feels right. It feels right. It feels like that's how it's supposed to be. It feels like we're at the age and the experience level to say that something is going right in the places that we're in, that they recognize that we're the people to be either leading these experiences or right next to leading them. It feels like we're young, but it feels like
we know what's
correct.
going on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the feeling. That's the feeling I felt most this week. The feeling that like I'm really him for real. Like in all of the things that's being talked about, and when I say that, what I'm saying is I have a accurate understanding of what it takes to do any of the things, and I've proven and have done all of the things well previously. So the thing to do is to develop systems around it and to continue to contribute to an infrastructure that helps these things perpetuate. And so I think that, like, to what you were saying, that's one of the feelings that we should be feeling, because I think the more empowered we feel, the more that we'll be able to be in these positions that we need to be in. Because honestly, I do believe, even none of y'all was here for this, but a conversation that I was having with Josh from Love Now Media is that the older generation needs sometimes the invigoration of new energy, of new creative energy, of a new passion in order to be able to continue whatever their mission is as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like we contribute to the space a lot. Like there's something, that nuance of like having that experience that the older folks appreciate, but also like bringing in something new and refreshing from the youth. We also had like a visit from our Augusta section. We're supposed to be opening a similar entity down in Augusta in Atlanta, and it happened so fast. But just standing in front of the room that I was talking to, and then them learning about my story and their story. It were people really speak life into you and be like, I'm proud of you. Like, I see what you were doing and I appreciate what you represent. And like, don't stop doing that. And I personally need to hear those words of affirmation because I'm right, like you said, we're right next to the boss, and the boss may not look like me, but she 100% appreciates me. And I didn't know that until somebody else. Well, I knew that, but somebody else said that to me, and it's like, okay, that's affirming.
You saying that behind my back too, like you're not just saying it to my face,
exactly.
like
You just carrying it.
Yeah.
So I feel like we do belong in these spaces, and it's a good feeling just to feel like, you know, we don't have to sugarcoat who we are. We can show up and we know how to execute, and we're gonna get that done.
And hopefully, for those of us working in the 9-to-5 setting, hopefully the paycheck reflects that and continues to reflect the upward trajectory of all of that.
Yeah, I need more reflections.
Yes, more reflections.
All right, yeah. So I mean, did you have okay? So yeah, in the office or out the office? What y'all think?
Go ahead, Diamond.
Oof. I think for me, I'm gonna pick in the office because more so out of just it's a mental thing. Like I have experienced both. I've had fully remote jobs, I've had fully in-person jobs, and I've had hybrid jobs as well. And for me, I always pick in the office only because of I'm somebody who like loves like routine and systems. So this idea of like getting up and going to a space mentally it gives me just a different feeling than when I'm doing things from home, because I'm in my pajamas, my hair is not done, I'm in my bonnet, the TV's there, I'm gardening, like all these things are happening.
Now you say you started taking it too far now, like
You at
you
home.
gardening on a company time, yo, what you growing?
What you growing?
No, literally, when you're home, and this is not even speaking from a standpoint of like even applying it to entrepreneurship, right? Like I get my most work done and have my most productive days when I get up, get myself together, and go to a cafe or go to a coffee shop, or I'm going to a co-working space. I feel more motivated. I feel more like, okay, let me knock this out because I'm here. And then ultimately, once I go home, I feel more accomplished and successful. Like I was very productive today. So I'm always going to pick in person, IRL. That's like what I lean more towards.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in the office as well, which is crazy because I ain't been in the
Office in a minute.
I got no office.
I ain't been in the office actually in a long time, but I definitely see the benefits that I used to didn't see. Like, well, I gotta be in this, but it's like if you can cultivate and create a culture that is conducive to growth, it changes everything when it comes to focus. And it's crazy because y'all know I used to be an athlete. Like that's my main origin story, but it really makes a difference even with the people. Like the people, that's my biggest thing at any time. The people that's around me really contribute to whether I'm on point or not. Because if I'm around some people that's on point, I'm gonna be on point. If I'm not, I might go to sleep, which is out of pocket. Like that's not a good way to be. But I react strongly to other people's energy, and so I just know that. So I try to put myself in those positions. Yeah, that's my
really quick just to add before we move on. But I think ideal thing for me would be like a third space. Like ideally, like when I imagine myself in my late 30s and 40s, I have a studio that I work out of, that I go to, that I have specifically curated for me to work and for me to be productive. Rather that be, this is what it looks like art wise, this is how it feels when you come in, it smells a certain way, it looks a certain way. Like that's an ideal thing. So I guess it's more like not an office setting of sitting down at a desk and doing this, but if I could curate my own like third space where it's not home but I go there to work, that would be ideal.
That's the one thing that I'm like missing in the space that I have right now. As far as my apartment, I love it, it's comfy, all the things. But if I just had another room that I could just turn into a creative space, not an office per se, but like a creative space with whiteboards and art around and like ways to put things up and to, that is the only thing that I'm missing. Because I'm not like strongly team in office, but I am strongly having a separate space for your brain space. Like I had a friend once, he was the first one that I had seen have this, where he had a 2-bedroom. So we had, and I think he called it like, this room is his brain basically. And so it's like, the rest of the apartment is where you live, where you play, where you eat, where you whatever. But this room is literally, it's your brain. It's the contents of your brain, like on walls, on paper, on whatever. And I'm like, that is what you need. You need a separate space that you can step outside of the regular flow of your life. And I feel like for me, doing both, right, 9 to 5 and having entrepreneurship outside of that, I'm team, if that's your setup, remote. Because if you can work 9 to 5 remotely, then you have more space and time to like do what you will with your time and your space when it comes to entrepreneurship. And that is like a super ideal setup. But if you're only working 9 to 5, hybrid.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important, like you said, to leave your space to have structure. But also, ain't nobody needs to be in the office 5 days a week.
Yeah.
No. Body. And I understand why people get older and get the back pain and all the things, because if you ever sat in one of them chairs for a full afternoon, you get it.
Do y'all believe in a 5-day work week?
No.
Nobody feeling it.
Like
nobody feeling it.
I think 3 makes
Three is
sense.
cool.
If you condensed it to 3, you would get most of what you
More
needed to
work.
get done in 3 days.
Also, really quick, because you mentioned 2-bedroom, creatives, get a 2-bedroom apartment. Use the second room as your office because you can write off half your rent on your taxes. If you're using that space, like as long as your room, it doesn't have a bed in it, as long as you're using it to create and to work, you can literally be writing off half your rent on your taxes. So, pro tip.
Taking notes.
Yeah, just to add to that third space, like I am a hybrid in office person. And when I say hybrid, like I like to have my own space within the office space because I don't always want to be bothered with everyone. Not because like anything personal. I need my own space to just rock out and do me. And being able to like build out the studio and then go in there to work in the studio, that's like, now this is my workspace. Like that's way cooler than always going back downstairs into the cubicles and having to be set up with next to everybody. Double screen is cool, but look, I just plug into the smart board and now I got a double screen like that. Yeah. And then even, with my lady being in the fashion, like she can come into my workspace because this is just my space. And now she has a section where she can do her fashion and embroidery. And now I'm over here doing music and now we're creating our own, synergy within that space. So I think it's important to create spaces within your workspace as well. So that way you're not just trapped to whatever has already been laid for you.
Yeah, I was a heavy one of them people too. I had multiple spaces where I needed to, in case I needed to dip off.
Right.
Jay.
For me, it's all in buckets. Like as a leader, in person is the best way to be. Because when I've had to deal with remote things, professionalism keeps you on task. So like being in the office and having to be professional, you're going to stay on task. When you lax, like my mom handles a lot of people remote. And when she calls people, compared to her industry before when I was around her when I was younger and work, now people be like, oh, well, like everyone's doing something else. So I'm already busy. And even like, oh, would you do this task? Oh, well, I get around, I'm doing this. I'm doing, like everyone has an excuse where in the actual office, there's no excuses. But in the creative field, I can't like imagine doing, like when I say office, I think about cubicle 9 to 5 type. Not like a creative space, like in a creative way. I can see that as like a death of my creativity a little bit. Like when I had to be in an office and stick it, and then the walls is all the same color, and I'm like, I literally JJ been in one when I had an office. It's and you just sit there trying to get your work done. It's dreadful. You hate it and things like that.
Dreadful.
So I can't be creative in that space. But also like when I'm a subordinate in a situation, remote kind of always takes that like in a good situation because I can get my work done in my own time. I got kids, so being able to be with my kids and knock out this project for 2 hours, and now I got some space to myself and I can do what I'm supposed to do. Because when you're not at the top, I don't have to, like, there's no one to be on. I just got to do my task and move on.
Yeah.
So it's definitely ways you navigate out. To wait, which one is better? I would definitely lean remote because if you're self-motivated, the only reason I would go to office is because you got to motivate others. But if you're self-motivated, you can get anything done wherever you're at. And to me, remote means wherever you are. Like
that's a good point.
I got
you can pick your joint instead of
my sister right now was working from Africa. My aunt working from a whole nother part, working from her own personal business where she works for the IRS and runs departments. But she also got the car washes all over.
And you also got to be self-motivated to have those experiences, because if you a person that lives a boring life and you work at home, then you just home.
Yeah.
You literally just home. I think I saw a post that was like, I can't imagine working from home and then looking back 10 years later and being like, wow, I spent 75% of the last 10 years of my life in my apartment. Someone was like, in the opposite situation, you just spent 75% of your life for the past 10 years in an office. So it really is about how you choose to use that time and that space. If you got the freedom of being remote, if you don't take the freedom to actually be free, you just swapped like one set of like confinement for another in a way.
All right, let's get to work.
Yeah, got you. All right, so this situation reminds me very much of part of the conversation that's happening online around Emma Grede. And just in case we are unfamiliar, because before this week, I was also unfamiliar. All right,
a lot of people were. I think what kind of started this was her going on Keke Palmer's
the
podcast.
PR is PRing, baby.
And her book.
Yes, but the PR is around the book. Like, this is, if you are a person in PR, this is a masterclass, because again, I did not know who she was prior to a week ago. But Emma Grede, she's the co-founder of Good American, which I believe is a retail company, and she founded that with Khloe Kardashian. But she's also a founding partner of Skims, which everyone knows as Kim Kardashian's signature brand. So she is one of the most visible women, Black women, in a high level business. And she's known for being very blunt about money, about ambition, about power, about women and family. And she just launched her new book. It is called Start With Yourself, A New Vision for Work and Life. The whole premise of the book is basically to stop waiting for systems to change and for you instead to adopt changes to your own lifestyle in order to achieve the success that you want.
Right.
It's not like girl boss motivation in the like typical way. It's really based on the idea, she really believes basically that work-life balance is a myth. And that anyone who tells you that you can have work-life balance is lying to you. And a lot of the comments that we see online have circled around that, particularly from the lens of her as a female entrepreneur and a female businesswoman. The idea that as a woman, you have to basically get rid of sort of the lies that have been told to you about how, back to the remote thing, you can work remote and have a soft life and also achieve career success. Her whole thing is that is not possible. Proximity to power is what gives you power. And so you have to be in office. And so you have to sacrifice certain aspects of your life in order to be successful, which for her, one of the other comments that's circulating is it means that she is a 3-hour max mom, which means that she is dedicated to giving 3 hours of engaged time to her children, as far as like playing with them, as far as like investing in their development, 3 hours a day. And I guess she might cook, she might wake them up, she might whatever outside of that. But like, it's 3 hours a day and then I'm done. And then I can continue on with my errands in my life. So it's like, she's basically saying it's a sacrifice that all people, but especially women, have to make. And obviously, this is controversial, right? Because we are in the midst of the soft life era, the soft life movement. And so with some people, I don't even think she's talking to some of the people that are responding to her from this soft life perspective. But I do feel like it opens up a door for us to have a conversation about, one, do we agree? Is work-life balance a lie? Is that a myth? If you want to have success, do you sort of have to give that up? And two, what is it that we each are personally willing to sacrifice or compromise on in order to achieve success in our own individual careers?
Should we play the clip since we have?
Yeah, I'm with it.
Work from home culture is a career killer for women. And let me explain to you why. Remembering that I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that work for me. Now, what is happening is that we talk about all of this sort of upside of Zoom culture, but none of the rigidity of it. And no one will really tell you. But careers require proximity and visibility. You want a pay rise? You want the next promotion? You want the big corner office? Guess what? You need to be there. You might not want to hear it because it might be comfortable in your living room, but the facts are the facts. And I'm not here to sugarcoat information or to load women up with toxic positivity.
So you almost feel like it's a way to also, I don't want to say push us out, but it's almost slowly a way to be like, you're not needed or you don't really, it's not, there's no urgency because you're a wet.
It's eroding the potential for women to be successful.
Interesting.
Period, end off. Your boss won't tell you that because they're not allowed to tell you. The way we have built human resource culture in this country and the rest of the Western world is that no one can have that conversation with you. But the truth is the truth. It just is. If you're not there, if you're not in the room, there is going to be somebody else that is. And guess what? Like, they will get that opportunity over you. This is not about like whether or not these things are true or properly understood or whether they're right, quite frankly. Yeah. Because I know that for some people, they're like, but wait a minute, I need this flexibility. The way that we all come into work now is that, and I run organizations that are very flexible. Nobody misses things that they need to do, a dentist appointment, an appointment with their kids because they have to be in work from this hour to this
Yeah.
hour. There's a level of flexibility that's assumed in the workplace right now. But I think it's a little bit like this idea that we've built for ourselves that you can listen your way to success. Like if I just stack all these podcasts, like I'm going to get really successful. No, ambition has to find you working.
Yeah, that's clearly her. That's clearly her.
That's what I'm telling you. The PR is PRing.
Yeah, that's clearly her talking point. And I feel like I find that interesting too, just in all of these things. The more that I get to know media, just in general, how much people rehearse their message, like how much like we're going to stick to this message and we're going to say it everywhere until it start catching on.
Yeah.
I don't think she wrong though. Like I like the sentiment of the nature of the thing is that you gotta be there in order to be considered. And
I think the want is where I think she's misplaced. The person that work from home isn't really thinking about a career in the office. They think about their paycheck. So like in a situation of ambition, if you got the ambition, then your ambition has to match where you're trying to be at. But I don't think to the person at home is the same person. Again, most of these jobs, people just want a paycheck now. Like in a situation of your career and development, and you trying to do it, after you get to the point where she's at, where she's mastered and done multiple things, she's having fun in her work life. But most people just want to get through the job. Like I'm trying to get to this point to get to the next point. Don't even come till some years after I figured out this point.
But she's not talking to that person. She's talking to the person that does want whatever that next step is, whether they want it concretely, that they're like, I'm an Emma Grede type of person, or she's talking to the person that like subtly in the back of their head thinks that I can do both, right? Like somehow, some way I can do both. She's really talking to that person to say, that's not true. Yeah. Like you are quietly thinking that like I can build a business and I can have da-da-da-da-da, but I also can build my life around these like softer principles of rest. And she's like, that's not how it works. Yeah. That's who I feel like she's talking to.
Yeah, I disagree. And I also feel like with Emma Grede, I think I agree with what you said. I don't think she's talking to everybody. She's been all up and down my timeline this past week, and I saw something where somebody said Emma Grede is talking to the greedy girls. She's talking to the girls who want it all. They want your check. They want your check. They want your job. And I do think that is very much true. I think she is talking to a specific group of women who do aspire to have the things that she has and does aspire to lead that same type of life. And if you want to have that life, yes, that is true. Yeah. You do need to be there. I do agree with that to a certain extent in general, that you do need to. I think she repeats these words, visibility and proximity, a lot. And I do think those things are true in terms of getting opportunities. On the other end of that, I do think the larger conversation is like, what does success look like for you? And how much of yourself are you willing to pour into that to get it? Because for me, I never aspired to be a multi-million-dollar person who owns multiple businesses and sells businesses and works with people like Kim Kardashian. Like, that's not my goal. There are plenty of black women who that is their goal though, and that's what they want. And I feel like if that is what you want, you should take what Emma Grede is saying and you should run with it. But I think if you are someone who is looking to build your version of success in a framework of a lifestyle that works for you, which I think I am more on that side, then I think it's almost like what the saying is, like, you learn how to chew the meat and spit the bones out. Take what you know, take what she's saying and apply, very similar to what we were talking about yesterday, but like apply it to you and perceive it how you want to. But I don't think like the think pieces around these type of people is almost scary, because it's like if you say something based on, like, a lot of these people that are on like podcasts and saying these things, they are talking off their own experiences. Like, this is what she knows works because she's a multi-million-dollar person and it worked for her. And then I think when we hear it and we don't agree with it, we're like, oh, that's evil, that's violent, like, don't say that. And that's just like, it's not true. Like, right. It's like we're all high functioning smart adults that can choose to receive what somebody is saying, apply the parts that work for you, and leave what doesn't. And I think we need to like practice that more. But I do understand, like, even when I think about proximity and visibility, a very short story, but I think y'all know because I mentioned this before, but when I started off at Rock Nation, I was an unpaid intern, and in that internship cohort, it was very much the culture, even though it was 9 to 5 unpaid, the culture was that interns would stay extremely late because everybody wanted to be the person that was visible. It was a known thing that a lot of the higher ups in the office would stay till nighttime, so there was interns there staying until 10 o'clock at night, working from 9 o'clock in the morning. Sheesh. Just because they wanted to be seen. There was a guy who I was interning with that I was extremely close with, and he was in the like sales. He was a sales intern, and he was just there one night, like literally was just there. The president of Roc Nation Sports, because Roc Nation has different sectors, Roc Nation Sports asked him to run a package to him for him somewhere in Manhattan, and then he ended up the next day getting promoted as his assistant. So just off the fact that he was in the office when nobody else was there and the guy needed an errand ran for him, until this day, that is what, 7 years later, he is still that man's assistant. And that was just off the fact of being there. I firmly do believe that you have to be visible. I think relationships like that happen in community when you are being seen. There's no way for you to, people don't look at you as a hard worker when you're not there. And you could be working as hard as you possibly can from home. But yeah, I do think, like, again, another point is that even when Black women do work hard and they show up on time and they outperform their male counterparts, and all this stuff can be true, and you could still not be promoted. You still won't get the corner office. Like, you still won't get the director's title. It be simply because you are a Black woman. So I think that's just something else to call out. Like, we can't work ourselves out of a patriarchal world that just is set up and not meant for us to succeed in general.
Exactly. I mean, though, this feels like work harder to me, but I'm not trying to go there with it. Like, oh, you gotta to hit these certain goals. In reality, you can do all of that, and like you said, none of it. Or you can do all that, and the reward is being an assistant. Now, you might have loved it the first 3 years, but the next
7 years later,
the next 4, I might be like, all right, how do what do I turn this in for me? And I was watching this show on Apple TV, and it was the same thing. No, not Apple TV. It was a Stars. It was this movie with Aziz, Keke Palmer, Keanu Reeves, and Seth Rogen. And it was like going through like,
that's the cast. What movie is that?
I can't think of the name, but it's you could just type in Keke Palmer, Keanu Reeves, and they pop up. But it was about going through life, and one of the guy, and I don't want to spoil it because it's a good movie. But like, and somebody assistant, and the guy at the top could not see the assistant life was terrible, because all he needs him to do is do the task. And some people believe that you get assistance for this person, and they'll show you how they do their business, show you how they operate, and it's a whole mastermind. Like some like some of this book culture and these things to where, hey, listen to me, I'm gonna get you to the next level because of my experience. When your experience is so unique to yourself, like you discount how you look, how you feel, who you know, where you go, like how you was able to what this person might actually want from you individually. Mm-hmm. So like when you get to that, I think it's so hard to recreate like Hov said, make another Hov. That like, even if Dame could, he couldn't because it's you're like it's not nothing really. That's a good point. I added the space and opportunity, but it's you. So like and everybody trying to recreate somebody. It seems like I'm just adding to your business because like when I hear her talking, like I heard her on Joe podcast, it was a longer discussion than she usually goes. So hearing her for a little bit longer, I like 2 hour joint almost. I kind of hear like some of the things that make this seem like, all right, well, you kind of more of like that, like oh you said like she's a headhunter in business. Like I'm trying to go. I'm trying to be the number one seed so I can get this off and move to the next. Often, like there is no like happy thereafter. I'm working for working sake. So like in that case, yes, the work harder shit can get there. But in reality, like and like to what Diamond's kind of like she was saying, in more or less socialistic way, is that like yo, I just do what I need to do for me and live my life in a comfortable way, and that's all I really want. That's all most human beings really want. All the lofty goals and opportunity usually match because I hopefully. I'll be able to do what I want. Yeah, it's what people want. So I just think it's like
if that stuff comes on the way, amazing.
Earlier? I can pull it back up. I know that because she said it.
Yeah.
But
no, I definitely agree. Like when I hear people like this talk, and I do think the clip that Jay about to play also gives some context to like how she views what it means to be successful and work just in general, but. When I hear people like this talk, I do feel like we all been deeply infected by capitalism, like in such a way that it's like you must be the conqueror, like you must be, and I don't know if that's ever what we was supposed to be doing for real.
Some people find purpose in it, and
I agree with that, and I believe that like because capitalism is our native culture, it become like money becomes. Our sign of purpose, our signal. If we're
now I gotta find a movie named JJ.
It's good fortune. It's good fortune.
Thank you. Good fortune.
That's what Keke Palmer and Keanu Reeves.
That's a core thing to that film. Now
okay, Winners Culture watch party.
Please watch it. It's a core thing to like.
You're gonna watch that tonight.
Whatchamacallit? But yeah, that's like mainly I think through talking to different people and listening to how different people go about business in certain ways, it's like your goals basically dictate who you have to be in the workplace, whether you showing up or whether you staying late or whether what you're doing. And you know what I'm saying? Is that who we want to be? Is that who we think we supposed to be? You know what I'm saying?
And my last point is, this ignores the dangers of proximity from women to men. Like in the office, it's dangerous as hell for women. There's a weirdo who wants to eat your butt, who is just staring at you, who has been staring at you across the hall. They ain't never say a word to you. That ain't never say a word to you, but he plotting. He might hit you, and he might hit you like in a park. Like it's
but
so.
That can't even be like
though.
For women. That can even be at your apartment.
That could be anywhere.
That could quite literally be the maintenance man at your apartment.
But I understand why I'm just saying why the remote thing, if I'm the high executive, might feel appealing. Like I ain't got to deal with the fucking trauma of these men up my. You know what I'm saying? Now you said now if it's your doorman, I'm sorry, but like in a situation. So in the office, and it's also the hierarchy of what's it called? Before I play the clip, quid pro quo is the term they use when people do it. But it's like your boss wanting to use you in certain ways.
Now, I think that Emma Grede is like on the spectrum of examples for this kind of line of thinking. She positioned herself intentionally at the end, and that's part of the PR genius, is that it makes people respond to it. But I do feel like there's a spectrum of other examples that you could provide that all of us would at some point be forced to consider, all right, this is a compromise that you have to make in order to achieve whatever goal it is. Maybe it's not to own multi-million, billion-dollar businesses and be a super capitalist, but it is to make the winners culture successful. It is to make First Sunday successful. It is to be a major hip-hop artist. So it's like, we still do have to contend with the question of what are you willing to sacrifice or compromise, because there's things that you got to do that will make you uncomfortable.
More than what you willing to sacrifice, what are you willing to sell?
Yeah.
What is I think that was a good a point that she was making from the clip too, was that
Just play it right now.
Just as soon as I finish this, you can go ahead and play it. But when she was saying that basically, once you, because I don't know if it's in this part, but once you sell something, you got to give up your right to it, and that is a core thing, because if you made the thing out of passion, and then you gotta sell it because you made it out of passion, but you also, that was the same thing David Shands was saying. Like, do you want to make money, or do you want to make something for yourself?
Yes.
Because if you want to make money, you have to make something that can be sold.
Yes.
And if you put your heart into the thing that has to be sold, then you sold your soul. You sold your soul.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a balance. But Jay, you can go ahead and play the clip.
Question though was in the book, I was expecting one of those I worked really hard and so can you, like memoir stories, but you actually are also talking about sort of how to change mindset to be successful in business.
Yeah.
What is the old mindset?
So my viewpoint is that for women, we're culturally conditioned to avoid the exact behaviours that lead to success and to opportunities, to having a lot of money and to leadership. And it's very, very different from men, right? Men kind of, if you think about the prevailing wisdom for men can do anything. They can make any mistakes, they can raise money, they can lose a lot of money, they dust themselves off, they go and do something else the next day. There is no conference that a man feels like he has to turn up to, look great, worries who he sits next to, and feels like, he needs to be like a man supporting men. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you know what I mean? So there's all this built-in bullshit for women in business that just isn't true. Then you've got these kind of like uniquely female traits that are around things like perfectionism, that it's really difficult for a lot of women to get started before they feel like everything's lined up. Well, that flies in the face of what actually works in business, because business is about you failing on the way up. It's about you testing and learning and doing things before you're ready. And so what I tried to do in the book was put out all of this prevailing wisdom and say, these are the way that we have been conditioned to think for many, many different reasons. But actually, there's a new way of thinking. And if you can replace the old thoughts with new thoughts, you will get further quicker. And it's not about mindset, manifestation, because I really don't believe in that alone. So ambition has to find you working, right? It's like facts. If you're not in the mix,
ambition has to find you working.
It's completely true. So I don't want women to sit around and do a vision board. I want you to make a plan for your life. I want you to have a vision for what type of person you want to be, for what type of, life you want to lead. And then I want to give you the steps to turn that vision into a reality. And it's not about mindset alone. It's just that's a piece of it that you won't get far unless you've addressed that.
So, as women, do y'all think this book is necessary? Like this, not even just the book, but like this line of thinking is necessary?
I think that if you're exposed to both sides of the discourse, then it's helpful, because you have to understand that you have a choice is the most important part. Because I think that what she said at the beginning is actually true, that women are socially conditioned into the exact behaviors that are antithetical to success in the way that a patriarchal and capitalist society has laid out success, right? You are conditioned to be generous and giving and kind and loving and protective of others around you and empathetic, all that nurturing stuff. That's not how the world works. And then on top of that, if you buy into the side of society that says that you're supposed to want to be a mother and a wife, that it runs completely antithetical to the side of society that says you're supposed to want to be a business owner and a leader. So I think that she's right to say that. And so if this line of thinking helps to disavow some of that social conditioning, but you are also exposed to the social conditioning, I would say that's not even that pre-programmed, a woman is this domestic, kind, loving, nurturing figure, but rather the discourse that says that humans aren't built to be machines, right? And that rest is actually like liberation, especially for Black women. If you're exposed to both of those discourses, then you are better prepared to make a choice that's in line with you actually, because you understand that there's a spectrum.
Yeah.
So it's helpful in balancing out the spectrum.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I think two things can be true at once. It can be as someone who is highly ambitious and somebody who has always jumped to work. As far back as I can remember, I spent my 14th birthday going to get my worker's permit. Like, I always wanted to work. I always wanted to have a, literally, for my 14th birthday, I told my mom, if you take me to Martin Luther King High School and get my worker's permit, I don't want nothing else. And literally got a job at Rita's 3 days later. Like, walked up with a paper application, like, I want to work here, and they told me come back the next day with some non-slip sneakers, and I was working there. Like,
so who's hiring?
No, literally, no, quite literally, like, not new to this, but true to this. As somebody who is highly ambitious, I've had to set those parameters for myself about like how far am I willing to go. That's why I think it's important that you go into whatever it is, corporate world, business, as a person. It is so important to have a source, whether that be God for you, whether that whatever that is, like, know yourself, know your values, know what type of person you want to be known for in business. But it's just like I said earlier, like, I do think her book is valuable in certain points, in certain ways, because I think what she's saying is very, very real in terms of the conditioning, right? Like, how, I mean, all women can probably relate to you doing something at work and then literally it being in your head 5 days later, like, oh, I was such a bitch. Like, why did I do that? Like, I'm like overthinking about how mean I was to people, when I can name you 5 men off the top of my head that I've worked with personally that have been rude in meetings, cursing in meetings, disrespectful to people, and they probably went home and didn't think about it at all. Literally went throughout their life, don't even second guess it. So I do think those types of things are real, and those are real conversations to be had. Like, but I, again, like I said, it's really just about chewing the meat, it's spitting the bones. I don't think everything she's saying has to be applied to you based on what you want out of your own life.
I agree with you guys. I just wanted to jump in on the last part, because I think once you're in the field, you're in the field, like man or woman. So you gotta do what it is that's asked of you, whether that is being more visible or being able to do the task. But I think a part of the conversation that she's mentioning but not talking about is the partnership aspect, because she's talking about motherhood and 3 hours max and what type of life do you want to live. And I think for both men and women now, it's kind of a hybrid of both, where some days the man may have to cook and clean because your woman is out doing the work. And then on the flip side, like Tuesday, I had to press a bunch of like hoodies and merch because I had some sales that came through. So I didn't get home till like 2 a.m. and my lady had to cook. But then the following night, she had to work on a project for her portfolio, so she didn't get home till like 2 a.m. So I did the responsibilities of the home and not neglecting the spaces. So it's like, in that partnership, what does that look like for you guys? Is it still the traditional mom and dad roles where mom is supposed to do everything at home and not go out and work, and dad is supposed to take care of it? Or what does that look like for you guys, and really figure out what
Good question.
what the life is that you're going to build?
Yeah, it can't be that no more. It just literally can't be.
Yeah, I definitely think that the whole sentiment or the whole thing is that everybody mentality needs to change, because even in the state of our current society, we kind of need all hands on deck in multiple ways. Like, we need the men to be fathers and the women to be mothers, and we need the men to be building, because the other part of it too is like, you don't want no miserable person in either place. You feel what I'm saying? You don't want no miserable, and that's what sometimes that could lead to, or what I've seen from, you know, a more conscious aspect of the thing. If you're not out chasing your dreams or going after what you're passionate about, you're going to hold that resentment in the crib, and that's not the type of person that need to be raising our kids. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa. And you will want the person, you will want the community or whoever to see you in your best light. Like, imagine what it would look like to not see Mr. Riz in the classroom, because, you know, whatever, like, we need these different type of examples, and we need you to be show up as your full self in the situation. I think that's where the rhetoric could get a little dangerous, because if you shift it overly to the business, to the side that says, I got to be the shark, I got to be this, then what's your internal look like, and what does your household look like, and then who are you discouraging, even if it's in the house, like your husband? Like, who do you got to push to the side to say, you know, I got to whatever, when it's like we could have a different dynamic where it's like, and I don't know what their dynamic is, because I seen he the co-founder of Skims.
And to this point though, it's really like somebody in it, because we bring the kids, and this show I was just called, like, he shrunk his wife, and in the situation they get into a conversation about, hey, it's my turn. They took turns and then chasing their dreams and their ambitions, and one person didn't want to give up the turn. Like, all right, so like, I won in this area, you won in this area. All right, your turn to win. All right, you didn't win exactly, but your turn's up. And he like, no, my turn not up. I didn't win how you won. You hit the highest you hit. You got the Nobel Prize. I want my chance to get that in my own field. So like, they get through that, and just like to the person. But the main thing about it is people change and grow every day. Like right now with a second child in the home, we change and grow every day. We're different people. So I gotta pivot and allow her to be different. In most situations, and from that show, neither one allowed them to be different, to the point that they dredged the wedge between them, between their daughter, between their businesses, because neither one, both said, fuck it, it's my turn now. We're not communicating no more. I'm going for it, you go for it. The kid got to figure out the shit for herself. And that happens a lot.
No, that do happen a lot. That do happen a lot.
And for our community, it's not really to chase off of ambition. It's more to chase off of trying to stay fed, trying to stay alive, trying to stay up.
And
so like,
and that is the hard reality, that I think, like, there's truth in what it is that she's saying, because I even just think about, like, being a person that has so much going on in my life. It just describes what an average life looked like in all of our freaking lives right now. And then imagine adding a child into your partnership, into your life, into your dynamic right now. What would you give up? Would it be the week and the thing that you're building, that you're not even at the pinnacle yet? You're not even halfway up the mountain of where you were trying to go. And now you have this young person that needs you to pour in potentially more than 3 hours a day in order to really speed their development forward. That's what she's saying, is that you have to set in your mind, if my goal is this thing, then you got to be relentless about the pursuit that it takes to actually achieve that ambition. Otherwise, you will end up sacrificing the very thing that you need to move forward on that path in order to move forward on this path. But
also, I think that thinking is super individualistic. Like, if you do have community, if you are able to lean on some people, then it doesn't feel like the motion has to stop once you have to make the decision to take care of whatever. And I think that in our current culture, our current society, we oftentimes make decisions like, I'm making the decision for everything. You know what I'm saying? When it could be a situation where it's like, I knew that this point was coming, so I had some people around me to help pick up the slack when I couldn't, and then we can pass it off that way. And I think if we thought more like that, then in that situation when it's supposed to be my turn, it still can be your turn. It's the turn, the major win can still happen, because we working on the win together, as opposed to like the win gotta look like just what does it mean just to win yourself? All right, y'all, we about to get into the break room. So kick your feet up, loosen your tie, grab something cool to drink.
Period.
Y'all know the vibes. The first joint we get into for this break room segment is I seen on Complex they did a imaginary versus Meek Mill versus Wale. Who y'all got?
Look, I be riding through my old hood. Same old attitude.
The Philly bias has to come out here. Like you can't especially with the DMV being that.
No,
close,
so real quick, right? I did. We could go through it real quick. We could just do a couple rounds. I did it. I put it in ChatGPT.
Okay.
I said Meek Mill.
Oh
versus,
my God,
Like,
yo,
hold on.
No,
hold on.
You're not about to
About the
talk me about no ChatGPT music opinion.
yeah, like-
No.
That's surveying internet for somebody else's opinion.
They just did the matchups.
They can't do the matchup because they don't know the music. That's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
I
go ahead.
can.
Go.
You see what I'm saying?
But
So-
you just said Chat did it.
No, I'm saying Chat made the rounds. I'm going to adjust accordingly. But it's
Okay.
a good enough framework.
Check gave you the structure.
Yes.
Gave you structure.
Check.
This versus me versus you. I'll take Meek. You take Wale.
No, this is what I'm saying. All right, so
That makes more sense.
So round one,
In the first,
round one,
I'm
right?
changing round one if it's off, guys.
No, this was a heavy hitter, but it is what it is. Dreams and Nightmares versus Lotus Flower Bombs.
Never happening. Never happen. What, yo? Never. What?
We're just saying
Dreams and Night. Okay, Lotus Fire Run versus Dangerous. Let's go. Who wins?
Lotus Flower Bomb.
Lotus
No,
Flower
it does
Bomb.
not.
Lotus
I gotta give.
Flower Bomb.
I gotta give Lotus Flower Bomb
is
that
one
round.
of Wale.
Flower bomb.
Look at.
Now
I'm
go
talking
ahead.
about how
Trying
the
to make your
record
argument
goes.
while we.
Lotus
How
Flower
the
Bomb
record goes is not again versus stage is what we talking about. So Lotus Flower Bomb on a stage that's slow of a bop record versus Dangerous.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Whatever arguments you're trying to make is not working.
No, I
If I
agree with
can't play the
Jay.
music, then it's a hard argument
Meek
to make.
Mill
'cause
don't have a song other than Dreams and Nightmares that's better than Lotus Flower Bomb.
Yes, he does. I just said Dangerous.
And we all disagree.
Or the
No,
Chris
I
Brown song. What does that matter to me?
agree. Stop fucking me out. I'm saying I agree with Jay.
You just say loud.
No, because he keeps saying no. Nobody agree with you. Like
I heard you say Lotus Flower Bomb in my left ear.
No, I'm saying I understand what Jay is saying.
Listen to Lotus Flower Bomb. Like you talking
I'm not gonna lie.
No, Lotus Flower
I
Bomb
think,
is
what
better.
Jay, I think what Jay is trying to say is that if this was an actual versus, he thinks that like if Wale was to play Lotus Flower Bomb, Meek would play Dangerous because it's a similar vibe. Like there's a, it's in the same lane. So I'm saying if I had to pick between those two very slow melodic songs,
Meek would never start with Dreams and Nightmares.
Oh, we're not okay. We're just saying.
Nobody would,
We're just
though.
saying
No
in time.
fan.
Okay, look.
Lotus Flower Bomb.
Look. I'm a boss versus no hands.
These matchups are terrible, yo.
Fun fact, Wale did write Lotus Flower Bomb about Solange. Y'all know that, right?
What?
I
I
didn't
didn't know that.
Yeah, they used to date.
Fun fact.
Yeah, fun
Wow.
fact.
I love
that
that
is
fun
super
fact.
fun.
Wale got one of those dating histories that like is very low, but it's very expensive. Like,
No, he has actively said that he wrote that song about her like a bunch of times.
I want to know. I'm a boss or no hands.
I'm not using I'm a boss
I'm
versus
a
no
boss,
hands.
so
No,
that's two
you
verses
can't
that's
put.
killer.
Well, I guess you can.
You can.
You
They
can.
both records that go up.
Yeah. Diamond record.
No
No hands wins. That's not hard.
No, I think this was all biased. Like I'm sorry.
The picking is biased
because
because
I don't know.
What song does Meek have to go against no hands?
I'm picking no
he
hands.
has girl.
I'm picking no
like,
hands.
I'm 2 for 0, and I started this by root for beat.
You see what I'm saying? Okay, all eyes on you,
because the matchup is
which is Nicki Minaj and Chris Brown, Meek, or verse Bad, which is it bad?
Meek
All eyes on you
R&B
with-
game with Wale though.
Yeah,
You
like
gotta
we-
go to- you
Meek-
gotta
I
go-
agree,
hold on,
yeah.
bro.
I'm
Fuck
trying to
that.
tell
We
you.
gonna go back to
But all eyes on you is a women
Y'all
record.
not talking about
Bad
versus. We just talking about y'all like to hear because in these records, if you put them on a stage versus each other,
But that's not how all the verses
The
went.
energy is
it was
so
different.
down.
It was different versions of verses.
But
Like
now,
now we in
talking
the.
about today. Today versus if this happened because this Complex goal is this has probably happened because Complex is now a sponsor of Versus.
I didn't know that. That might.
I wouldn't be
Complex
surprised.
and
That'd be
Apple TV
fire.
are sponsors of Versus now.
They
so-
don't have beef
Ooh,
or
this a
nothing,
good
right? Or do
one.
they?
No, I
They
mean
don't have beef,
They
but
have
they
enough
have,
beef to make this good. Like they don't
Yeah.
have
Okay,
real
I'm about to
life
say I know they had some type of misunderstanding.
Well, they always gonna have the you didn't post my like Meek. The thing that Rich talked about earlier, people stop liking Meek is you didn't post my album cover as your profile picture. And
Yeah,
that started
I
the whole
remember
situation.
that.
But
Yo, Meek is such a Philly nigga. Like he can't help it. Like these are things that only Philly niggas would be mad about. Like honestly,
check
like,
versus.
I'm trying, like again, in some of these, I got Meek playing "Proud of Me" versus both these records and making you go versus Friday.
and Wale's going to win.
Okay.
Like what? Like we're not in the same ballpark.
You're crazy, bro. Wale can't even fucking sing. You giving me all R&B records for a rapper.
Right.
Give me a rap song that he got to rap. Because if he don't bring out the girl, Miguel, come on out.
Come on out.
That's a good point.
We just did I'm a boss versus no hands.
That was a matchup I wouldn't do.
I feel like that's a fair matchup.
I
agree with you though that if the song is relying
song
on
versus I'm a boss, we talking about ass versus I'm a boss.
But we're talking about club versus club.
Yeah,
we're talking about what turns you up versus what turns you up.
This is hilarious.
They both turn you up.
This is my favorite Jay. He turned.
All right, keep going.
All right, check versus matrimony.
Check.
So different.
These are
no. Man, this is biased.
This ChatGPT. ChatGPT don't.
It's not biased.
ChatGPT ain't never been in a club. Like they just saying songs.
We're just
no vibes.
All right, you make them. You make the next match. Go ahead. You pick two records.
Cause Check versus Matrimony.
Check was a good Meek record.
What about 24/7 versus Matrimony?
All right, 24/7 versus Matrimony. I like that. Matrimony still win.
No. If Usher comes out, yes, but no. Like if you give me, I have
we're talking about
feature.
song versus song.
Yes, and we're talking about verses, not song. We're talking about verses. The whole thing started from
like
verses.
You're giving verses that he had.
This was a playlist.
No Hands, cause on No Hands he cool, but is he the best verse on No Hands? Hell no, he don't make that song whatsoever.
I don't know. I think
you tell me what's going to get 1942 flow. You tell me. Pull out your rap. Pull up when me come out of verses and plays the freestyle from him and Ross, and he just raps a freestyle and whoops. Like, come on. I can play freestyles for the first 5 songs and I win.
That you see what I'm saying? Like this doesn't make now we not making sense.
Meek Mill freestyles are not global. Wait, Meek doesn't have global freestyles. Wait, freestyles don't matter. Meek doesn't have global freestyles.
Don't count to verses.
How did the Kiss battle win? Who won the Kiss battle?
Meek go up there and he just starts spitting.
How did Kiss win the battle?
Yeah,
with a verse from a freestyle that never was heard before.
But what I'm
Meek can rap.
What I'm saying is
you got to rap against me.
The essence of verses is song versus song. That's what verses. That's what verses is. Song versus song.
Song versus 1942 flow.
Okay, we'll find a song versus 1942.
Now you gotta find. Give
top
of your head. Give me a song of Wale where he rapping.
I
like Dice Pineapples.
Verse 1942, 1942.
Nigga did the poem in the beginning.
You're not even playing Wale's verse on that song. Wale not even. All he can rap is his verse. Drake not coming out. Ross not coming out.
The beat.
If Ross come out, they doing an MMG song. So like, what you talking about?
So do we like the record 1942 flows more than we like the record Dice Pineapples?
See, now you saying
it's so hard to pick because you're talking about two
we're talking about on stage performance. I'm telling you, a Meek Mill show go off. You haven't seen Wale on tour.
Like as a Philadelphian, I gotta pick Dreams and Nightmares, but I fuck with Dice Pineapples.
I'm not talking about you.
Like I do.
I think maybe the overarching question is this a good matchup?
Oh, it's a great one because of what verses, like in a versus situation, 2 artists that can do a song together, but also have some tension between them that can get played.
Wale got great records.
It's perfect because of the tension there. But
that's JJ's main point.
In the battle of songs version, Wale doesn't stand a chance on a versus stage with me because you got to perform. And every song you gave me was an R&B record. You going for a bop and melody when I'm telling you this shit got to get lit. Like again, Tyrese started 1-0 because he came out with Chingy. If you go low and slow, you're gonna lose me. You got to be hyped throughout. This is a performance. I'm cooking you. So again, if I play performing a record.
So you not talking.
So Burn a back and forth between him and Big Sean.
This is two different.
Big Sean come out.
But we talking about 2 different things. I'm talking about record versus record. You talking about performance versus performance. Those are
verses.
But that does matter.
That's 2 different.
It's the energy in the room.
That's 2 different things because. When it was
maybe on Patreon
when it was taken
I will play the records and demolish him in every one of his slow songs. You gotta give me you can't even give me Wale verse. You gotta get to Wale verse. You gotta fast forward every song. Oh shit, let me get to Wale verse. Let me get to Wale verse. Let me get to Wale verse. I start off hot every time.
You can't look the
beat to the crowd. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna play like if we're playing a coffee club, then yeah, you win Wale.
This Wale 10 most popular songs on Spotify. It's Bad, it's Love Hate Thing, is Lotus Flower Bomb, is Watching Us off his last album with Leon Thomas, is On Chill, it's The Need to Know, is Ambition, is That Way. Like he has records,
right? And Meek has performed. Meek is going to perform. The energy in the room is going to destroy whatever.
I'm about to tell you.
I just told you.
I'm about to tell you.
You know who's in the same exact thing, which is funny that people. Did you watch the verses between Dipset and Lil Lox?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, who got better? Who got more records?
To me, the locks. The lock, like.
Okay, I'm done. I don't got have no more.
You think Dipset got more records than the lock?
What he's trying to say right now, Dipset got way more known for work before girl records. When girl records,
why do you think
I grew up on the locks though, so I don't know.
Why do you?
I grew up on the locks, so
I grew up on both. So in Dipset's case, Dipset had a ball. Like you gotta understand the records.
Bro, they had one era. They had one
situation. You talking about the people? You said the locks. The locks didn't went on performing big records.
They had one album.
The locks didn't perform big records. They said, "Yo, y'all ain't got no girl records," and they brought out Mariah Carey.
Exactly.
So they played the game the right way. I'm telling you, with rapping ability, on stage presence.
But niggas know them songs, bro.
But people knew them songs.
That first album, you know them songs.
But they didn't. I'm telling you, they didn't play them songs. Look, we talking about the verses. We can play the verses.
Right.
They didn't
even
play
talk
those
about that.
verses.
But listen,
No, I said that. He said no. That's nothing.
But
I'm telling you, in a
Let's
verses.
talk about how JJ say a house party don't matter to nobody, but from people.
Yeah,
from
I was
Philly.
confused there because I'm not even in that category.
Because
Like,
what I'm saying is, if you look at Meek's still my favorite rapper. I like Meek when we talk about the freestyles, when we talk about all these things. I'm just looking from a record standpoint.
And that doesn't happen in verses.
Look, Meek's top 10 is this: Going Bad, All Eyes on You, Dreams, Nightmares, Blue Notes, I'm a Boss, Rico, Dangerous, Respect the Game. And the 10th one is the song I don't even.
So I can't play no
commercial though. He don't gotta go commercial.
Can I play mixtape records?
That's what I'm saying. You can play mixtape. You can play whatever.
Okay,
What I'm saying is
I'm going to go off.
Thirsty.
You can do you can
play
do
that.
you can
Bout
do
it, you
but-
hungry,
And guess
busy
who?
on
And guess who?
this,
The only people who know that is the people that live
You're
here.
wrong. You're completely wrong, though.
If you hear that shit for the first time,
you act the man got signed because he was a nobody. No, the nigga worked his ass off to make these things that we're talking about in his early career. You going to me? You going Apple Music? That ain't no real fan. Like Apple Music only got every Meek song on it.
What are they playing on the radio and other places for me? They playing 24/7.
Oh my goodness!
They playing
freestyle. Who listens to the radio?
But you heard
But what I'm
that
saying,
moment.
I'm talking about when we were coming up. The way that you would have,
that doesn't matter.
the way that you
I
would
feel
have
like
gotten
you're saying if this versus battle happened in Philly,
10 years
Meek
ago.
wins. And
Yes.
you're saying that if it happens outside
Anywhere
of
else is
Philly,
more
I'm saying you're tripping
because they
one is you're crazy. Did you again? The last thing I'm gonna say about this versus is R&B versus just happened with R&B slow songs, and that crowd was dead and trying to stay alive with some of the best songs ever fucking written. Like literally, "Sweet Lady" is one of the best songs ever written, and the crowd just like, oh my god.
So you think that Tank? You think Tyrese is close to Tank?
No, I think Tyrese sings "Sweet Lady" and the audience wasn't reacting to it. So when Wale come out and somebody who you don't know sings bad because the bad girl is
what I'm telling you is Tank has the better records. Tank was going to win if you go record for record, if you go performance for performance, if you go anyway. Tank is going to win.
Tank has better records than Tyrese.
I thought what? Tyrese had 5 songs, 6 songs.
Tyrese had 5, 6 songs.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Apple Music it again.
Just
go
off
Apple Music
just
it again.
off Tank's writing credits. Just look at songs.
You don't even know Tyrese writing credits.
He didn't write nothing.
Yo, who wrote Sex Man?
if I'm listening to
who
y'all
wrote
in
the
my
best song from
earbuds, I cut y'all
TGT?
off already. Y'all do too much hollering for me.
This clip gonna go crazy.
Tank got 6.
We might make this versus happen with this.
Tyrese got 6 songs. He got "Sweet Lady." He got "Sounds of Love Making." He got his 6. They good 6. Tank is Tank.
Go ahead. Give me Tank 6 songs, and let me see if everyone know the names of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at this joint right now. He got the songwriters credits for sure.
No, yeah, but his songs.
Are we listening to "Please Don't Go"? When we?
Yes.
Maybe I deserve.
Well, hold on. When we please don't go. Go ahead, one more.
Well, I said maybe I deserve.
Maybe I deserve. Signs of Love Making, "Sweet Lady," and let me give me off the top of my head.
It's 20 songs though.
Yeah, no, but we're going to.
You talking about 5?
You don't know 20 Tank songs.
You
don't know 20
It's
Tank
20
songs. So I'm trying to be. Y'all don't even know Black Road. I can go TG. Like it's so much in this that in the situation of where I've never heard anyone in life say Tyrese got better songs than Tank. Ever. Tank has now performing. Tank's that's why even in the battle Tyrese says, "Well, I gotta go against a nigga that is the performer." Like when you go to any artist you've liked over the last decade is a Tank baby. So like in a situation of that, but with Tyrese, what my point was is why it's the performance. Tank won because he can perform. He can hit the notes. I can come out and I got friends that's gonna come out and make this feel like a situation. Well, you gonna stand over there like Tyrese along with
all right,
girl.
look. All right, we just gonna go around. We gonna end it. We gonna say Meek Mill or Wale.
In the verses, I'm going Meek.
I'm going Wale.
Meek, just cuz. Even though I'm a Wale fan, but you was talking blasphemy.
Everybody went Meek. Meek won.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it was 3 out of 2, so
biased.
like you and this, everybody gotta stop because it was technically 3 out of 2. So they got 2.
But what I'm saying is the majority. Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Go ahead. Everybody said.
Do this versus.
Go ahead to how y'all felt about Michael. How did y'all feel about Michael, yo? For the people that watched the movie, how did y'all feel about Michael?
I saw Michael on Thursday. I thought it's I was hearing mixed reviews. Some people was like, I didn't like it. But then I saw somebody whose music opinion I trust. She was like crying and everything. Was, oh my God, it was so good. And they everything, you could tell they put like a level of intention and care into it. So when I went, I was expecting more than what I saw. I also didn't know. It was the same thing as Wicked. I had the same reaction as Wicked. Because like, if you guys seen the movie Wicked with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, I believe her name is. Yeah. It kind of cuts, like, as soon as you're kind of getting into the movie, it cuts off, and you realize, like, oh, it's an additional part, which I think the part 2 has already come out. Wicked for Good came out this year, and I think Wicked came out last year. So I had no idea that it was going to be like that. Like, the movie, if you're expecting to see the full length of Michael Jackson's, like, you're expecting to see his whole life and all that, definitely not, you're not going to see that. But I do agree with Jay. Yeah, but like, I think what Jay said in the beginning is very real in terms of like, I think the angle that they took for this biopic was definitely like him and his relationship with his dad and his fight for creative freedom over his own stuff. Like that was the main central theme. I do think in general, in terms of telling his story, a lot of stuff was left out. I guess it was legal reasons. I don't know. But even like his romantic relationships, they are non-existent in the movie. Like, you know, Michael Jackson was married twice. Like, and I don't even know, like, again, I'm unsure of the ages he was married, so I'm unsure if like the part 1 even got to that timeline, because again, like, he was still very much a young Michael Jackson
by the time it was over.
When the movie was over, I thought we had about an hour left. I was just getting comfortable. But yeah, it was very good. I will say, like, the best part about it is Jafar Jackson, his nephew, became him literally probably the best depiction of Michael Jackson I've ever seen.
Yeah, how would y'all feel if your son was better at being your brother than you?
What?
The
grandma's the baby because what?
The grandma's the baby.
even the little boy who played Michael, like young Michael Jackson, extremely talented. Like, yeah, it was just. I thought it was okay. I wasn't moved. I thought I was gonna leave there like crying.
Scale of 1 to 10. Let's scale of 1 to 10. What do we give it?
7.
A 7. That's not bad.
No, maybe an 8 only for his nephew's performance. Like he genuinely made me believe he was Michael Jackson. Like I was like, yo, I'm really enjoying watching him do this. I'm talking about the dance moves, the mannerisms, his voice. Everything was just like, yo, you could tell he definitely did his research. So I thought that part was cool. Obviously, it was awkward. Like maybe I'm a diehard Janet Jackson fan, like one of the greatest. So it was very awkward watching that movie and her not being in there at all. Like them not even referencing her name.
Really?
Yeah, I think she said she didn't want to be depicted, so they didn't even have like a little girl there to pretend. Like it just didn't acknowledge her. No, it was like a lot of scenes with him and Latoya, but nothing like Janet Jackson.
I mean, that's fair.
Mentioned. When they would have family scenes, it would be
she just wasn't even there.
Like it was like she wasn't even like born. So I thought that was kind of awkward. But Coleman Domingo did great too, and Nia Long did great.
Yeah, they did great. The reason, let me get right to what people mad at. They didn't get to see Michael Jackson get his ass beat. Like a lot of people mad that Joe Jackson ain't laying this crazy because
he beat him once in the movie, right? But I guess they wanted to see it more.
I mean, he did it like in a lot of these decisions where like a lot of these monumental points, and they have this whole throughout of their movie is Joe beating Mike ass. So like in a situation, you kind of, I guess it's more of a puff piece, and like we want you introduce Michael Jackson to a new group of fans.
Yeah,
so these kids can grow up. Go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna ask y'all is because I haven't seen it yet, but I will go see it. Does it feel like a puff piece? I guess is the shortened version of it, because I feel like whenever the family or the individual themselves is behind, their money is behind the project, it ends up being a positive depiction, versus that's when you can't get into the nitty gritty. And the nitty gritty is what makes a star become a character that you're invested in as a person. That's how you get to the moving thing. But Michael Jackson is just such a complicated person that I don't think we ever really are going to get that depiction. I don't.
I mean, but if Janet can get involved and give her, like, if you get the whole
but it's not about the Janet. It's about the marriages. It's about his romantic life. It's about his relationship to race and identity. We are never going to see that.
Right. But I'm saying there's people that have these relationships
because like I am 28, about to be 29 in a couple months. And my depiction of Michael Jackson, like what I remember was always like I remember Michael Jackson being alive, but the main things I remember about Michael Jackson being alive was Michael Jackson, you know, and the controversy around him and Neverland and Little Boys. Also, him bleaching his skin that was like a running joke when we was younger. Like Michael Jackson bleached his skin. Like that was
I
when they got to the nose.
Skin, girl,
the nose is a big
Michael
thing.
Jackson.
The nose falling
and the
off.
nose, like, but those
movie.
and also like I always grew up when I was younger under the impression that Michael Jackson was gay. Like I always thought that because of things that were being said and like all this. So I definitely thought the movie would like address some of those. And like I didn't.
They never will.
When I
it can't. Wait, I can't say that because
they never.
The person of Michael Jackson can be talked about. So someone else can make the film that we are talking
and
about
get sued.
But no,
that's a good point.
No, he'll become a public figure at a point to where you can talk about him freely.
You mean is there like a year, like a time frame?
There's a number of times that this person existed where they become public.
Are they gonna tear him up at that point?
Like you know how Mickey Mouse just became public opinion for something that somebody owned. Like,
but how many was that? Like 100 years,
70,
something like that.
Like 7 years, but
that's
it's
true for people though.
But in the situation telling the story, it's people like, but you gotta get these stories now while people are alive. Like my situation is, you gotta be willing to talk to everyone to get the story. Like Teddy Riley's out doing his new run. And he's telling Michael Jackson stories you've never heard. Like the reason why Mike's voice is light is him he's training his voice to be able to sing at the octave he was. So he's talking like he has a deep voice intentionally, but he won't ever use it because he has to be perfect pitch to be able to sing. And some of those things like you kind of don't get when you don't talk to Teddy Riley, who sat there with Mike for this amount of time to create this amount of music. And to the nose part of the situation, like some of the stuff they got to that was this. The family also kind of you get to see things that none of y'all could actually know. Like him contemplating like, oh, is my nose, like some of these things you trying to paint the idea of him with his nose operations is your idea of it, but not us.
Yeah, well, so Jackson was telling him the whole movie, your nose big as fuck.
But again,
meanwhile, his nose big as hell.
But that to me, that's germane, and that's the outside people looking like, oh, they keep saying so. This must be why Mike fucked with his nose. Well, who knows?
Yeah,
right. He might have had a bad coke trip. Who knows?
Well, I think but somebody from media, like there's like letters that Michael Jackson. That's
my point to the puff part.
Like, been like out exposed now, and I think he talked about his insecurities in terms of his public image and like how he looked physically. But I think like the biggest misconception is that Michael Jackson bleached his skin and did this to his nose because he was trying to be white. I don't think that whatsoever. I don't, and I grew up thinking that for many, many years until I was an adult, able to educate my own self. But yeah, I don't think Michael Jackson in any world wanted to be white. I think he had a very complicated relationship with, like I said, his body image and the media because of how big he was. Like that level of superstar, like is a scene. I'm not spoiling the movie, but there's a scene in the movie where he's leaving the record label and there are swarms of people to where he cannot even move his car. Like people are tripping.
Yeah, and it was worse than that in real life.
This is real footage. People in front row of watching him perform. He is a megastar, beyond megastar. Yeah. Probably you will never see. I don't even think Beyonce, as big of a megastar as Beyonce is, I don't even know if she is bigger than Michael Jackson or where he was. If you do Beyonce,
any other person, double the budget. Because like in some of these, like what you're speaking about, they couldn't assess the crowd. Like who he was, you got to have a Avengers Endgame budget to be able to showcase this many extras. Because like the life is that's the point of the movie for me is to show the life of probably the most famous person ever to walk.
Yeah, I think the movie. See, I completely think the movie missed out on that because a lot of like from the movie you would think, oh, Michael Jackson's impact was through music. My mom talks about how there was a time you couldn't escape the Jackson 5 itself. They had figurines, they were on commercials, they were on TV, like everywhere you went, it was something Jackson 5 related. If it wasn't Jackson 5 related, it was just Michael Jackson. If it wasn't them, it was Janet Jackson. Like the Jacksons in general were everywhere. They had reality TV shows. Like they were the Jacksons. Like, and I think the movie didn't really.
And don't get no more Malibu than Malibu's most wanted Crips because them Crips wasn't. You know what I'm saying? They tried to highlight the story because it's a good story of Mike going to the hood and actually having a relationship with hood people and bringing them into the video shoot. But when you go hire the person that felt like the guy from the like, oh, I'm method acting right now. Yeah, be hood, be Cripped, and that's what it felt like. So
I thought they did a good job of that, showing his impact about like him going to the like. Him seeing the Bloods and the Crips fighting and him going there, and it's interesting because like
Diamonds Mike just got unplugged.
Oh,
they clap.
Sorry. They talk. You see him on there being able to bridge the gap between those two. It's coming back, which is a big deal. It's funny because these are.
Is it still coming back?
I got something to say.
Oh, there. Wait. All right, we good now. Yeah, we good. We back.
Good.
Yep.
But yeah, I just like that scene because I was like, okay, you get to see the impact of Michael Jackson because even though these are two hood gangs, probably the most violent gangs, Michael Jackson came in there and they was like, yo, it's Michael Jackson, like turned into little fangirls because it's Michael Jackson at the end of the day. But yeah, a lot of controversial stuff I feel like they did not touch on. I didn't expect them to go too deep into it because I knew his family was a part of the movie, so they weren't going to like assassinate his character or anything. But it's just like at the end of the day, like being truthful, Michael Jackson has multiple sexual assault allegations that are extremely similar amongst boys who don't know each other. So that's just something to point out. Like,
and Michael Jackson was also investigated by the feds and beat that.
No. Real quick though, on abuse and all those things. I did want to talk about this because you read the article about Chris Brown, and Chris Brown and Usher is about to go on tour together.
Yes.
Right. And I want you to speak to what you discovered through the media, and if that changes your opinion on whether you still going to attend this concert.
Expensive concert, right? That I got tickets for. So basically, this is public knowledge, and I might just be late, and everyone on here might be like, "Girl, we knew that. That's what we've been talking about." But Chris Brown has a very lengthy history with allegations of assault and battery, whether that is like physical violence, whether that is sexual violence, whether that is stalking. But the instance that I really held in my mind were his public relationship with Rihanna and his public relationship with Karrueche. What I did not understand was how many women in between those relationships and after those relationships exist on a smaller scale. They're not celebrities that have also accused him of similar instances. And I mean, it's like a lot. Like it's like a lot. And I looked this up after I saw a thread that was like, basically like, these bird brain bitches are still going to the Chris Brown like concert and he be beating on women and whatever. And I was like, let me go do my due diligence, because I'm thinking this whole time, like, people are dragging people are dragging a history that is confined and turning it into like a depiction of this person's whole personality. Then I learned might be this person's whole personality. And I was like, oh shit. Like that's different than how I was considering it. And it does make me think more deeply.
The People magazine article tallies over 25 times where Chris Brown has been involved in some type of, abuse.
And it's not all against women. It was a lot of instances of like, he got into a fight at a club and punched someone in the face, whether it was paparazzi, whether it was another person. And then a good number of them are women that have alleged some sort of abuse or assault.
I believe it 100%. I mean, I don't try to ever cape for people like that, but I do think there is something to be said about specifically, which is, again, Michael Jackson's whole thing. People who go into fame very, very, very young. That was about to be my point. And the trajectory of their career from there. Like, we see it all the time with, like, Raven-Symoné even. Like, it never seems to work out for... And that's how the ones that we do have, we hold so close, like the Keke Palmer of it all, like the Zendayas. Because it's like, we seen y'all... I remember Zendaya being on Disney Channel when she was little. So her being Euphoria and the drama and, like, all these major, major films is beautiful to see. And the same with Keke Palmer, even though we've seen Keke Palmer have controversies and stuff like that throughout her career. But yeah, I think when you are coming into fame, which was Michael Jackson's whole excuse for having this circus at his house with animals and carnival rides and all this stuff, was because he's like, I never got a chance to be a kid, so now I'm living this out through and having connections with other children because I don't have that. And you see people always say like, oh, Michael Jackson's personality was very childlike in itself. Like, he had a monkey named Bubbles. Like, so it's just like he like, like, he has always been like that. So I think, like, that's not to cape for Chris Brown, but I do think it's related in terms of Chris Brown was 16
when he got famous.
When he became famous.
No, it definitely is.
Chris Brown only been convicted of 2 charges in life. One is assault of Rihanna. One is assault of the club.
Right. So that's
the only things that I knew. So when I realized that there were all of these other, and obviously like someone alleging that something happened doesn't mean that something happened, which is why you have to take. Right. I just didn't even realize that there were all these women out there that were like, yeah, this nigga beat on me. Like, that's what people are talking about. I didn't know that.
2022 case too of him with the text messages where the girl tried to accuse him of raping her in a situation.
I didn't know that none of that happened.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I'll only bring the situation up to the point of the celebrity part of Chris Brown too. Like, once the floodgates open, you kind of are always going to cut. Like, once that Rihanna case hit, forever you're going to get these types of cases. So, like, now he might be abusive as well. I'm not discounting this wild light skinned nigga, but in the situation, it could also be people that just want to get proximity to get some money. Like a lot of people see that as an easy ticket.
And it's just such a hard, like this is a way longer conversation, but it's just that it's just a hard, it's an impossible line to draw. I'll even take it that far for us as observers that don't know anything about the celebrities that we're talking about as people or the actual encounters that are being described in these court cases. We know 0% about anything that we're talking about, and then we're being asked to decide, is this person a good person or not? Are you going to support them? Are you not going to support them? Do you believe? Do you not believe? And it's like, what evidence do I actually even have to make that decision?
Yeah, and I do want to make it clear that in this article, basically they documenting if somebody made a claim or somebody post something online or somebody they talking about everything. So it's not like this is 25 confirmed cases. Yeah. It's 25 times where, and it wasn't all against women. Sometimes he punched the photographer. Like sometimes he had gotten in an altercation and then was denied entry into a place. So the actual altercation is not documented, but what is documented is the fact that he was, kicked out the club or not allowed.
Yeah, he a violent person. He an angry person.
And that's what I was saying. I think a lot of that contributes to him early fame.
And he was like that before the fame.
And he was like that before the fame.
Well, honestly, I always thought the him and Rihanna thing, because again, I've seen Rihanna's, I believe it was her Oprah interview where she opened up about their relationship and kind of did a detailed account of what happened that night or whatever the case may be. From what I took from that was that him and Rihanna were both equally abusive to each other.
Yeah, she get violent, angry
him
too.
driving and her kick right before he hit her kicking him in his face while he's driving, them throwing each other's phones out the window. So not to say that makes anything right whatsoever, but I always was like in the let's move on from this incident that Chris Brown did when he was 8. How old were he? How old were they? He probably was 18. So yeah, it's just like, especially when I got more details about Rihanna openly being like, prior to this we had a very unhealthy, toxic, violent relationship, and this is a night where it got to its absolute worst. Like
they were together after.
Yeah, and and also got back together after.
Yeah. All right, so are y'all going to the?
I'm going to the Chris Brown Usher show.
I'm going to.
But if these accusations get to the point to where we like a EF list, to where people are taking these accountability to speak to these women and get a document, then I'm more on the cancel the person. But I'm not there until we get to because again, I don't. It's hard to prove any of this, but I can prove a pattern. So if I can speak to everyone and everyone says, "Yo, you got a sharp left," then I kind of believe.
But that's what that was to me, is a pattern. That's what that, and I'm really not on. I don't even talk about stuff like this out loud because I don't like to speak about things that I don't know about, and then people hold you to your words about a thing. But my actual thing is I don't know. That's my actual formal opinion. I don't know.
Patterns are a little deeper to me than just the name of
this is a different type of this is a different type of verses. The songs versus the allegations. Who winning?
No, that's not what this is. That's not what this is.
We're going to leave that. I'm cutting that clip there. His songs versus. You got, no?
Yeah. We don't even got to go there.
But, yeah, like I said, I'm going. I think, in like how you said, like it kind of a pattern to me, I would have to talk to the girls, and then the girls' stories got to match.
So you gotta personally judge.
Not me, somebody in the world, like the person who organized the Ep.10 files. The young lady who lost her life recently, who they are saying disappeared. It's a bigger thing. But like in her situation, she went and did I spoke to the woman that been saying for years of this, and like these now. A
journalist is what you're saying. Yeah. You want an investigation done by an independent journalist that can talk to all of these women and all the things. And again, I feel like I'm going to leave it at this: is that all of this is very, very difficult because we live in a moment now where we live in the post-Me Too era where every claim made by a woman is viewed through the lens of you could be capitalizing on momentum in order to make yourself famous and da-da-da-da. But the reason why Me Too as an era needed to exist is because prior to the Me Too era, there was an era where people didn't believe women because they weren't believed, period. It was you're a whore, you're a slut. Why did you put yourself in da-da-da-da? Powerful men got away with abuse over and over and over again. So now we live in an era where the pendulum is swinging in a different direction, and now men are more fearful of the allegations of abuse than women are of making the allegation of abuse, and that creates a different imbalance. But like the reason why that had to exist is because women genuinely and still to this day are living in fear of retribution, of speaking out against powerful men that abuse their power to abuse vulnerable people. Yeah. So it's like you can't live in either camp too much because that reveals your personal biases and fears.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we can. Matter of fact, let's end this on a funny note. Play the Mary J. Blige.
I need to understand
Love a Mary.
See, I don't think this is gonna be funny. See, now you
Mary J. Blige actually said it's not funny in there.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What?
Hey, if I gotta make it funny, we can't play the clip.
She gonna come for us
Because the clip
she
is
literally
the
said
clip is
it's
her
not
like,
I feel for
funny.
Mary. Like,
No,
but
tell
then
me
I
what
gotta
happened.
think 'cause of the song.
You gotta find a
I'm
song,
genuinely
is what it
interested in the
is.
story though. That's why
I don't even fully understand it. If
I don't
we being
understand it
honest.
either.
Post I sent, the song was on the last slide.
All right,
Well,
play
if you don't
the
understand the
song.
story, I gotta play the clip.
Play the song, and then we can talk about her response to the
I don't
to the
like
clip.
us talking about my aunt. All I seen was the clip of her saying it's not funny. She don't like it. Her real fans know that, so I feel
It's
bad.
not funny.
What I learned from the interview though, she really is the hood Mariah Carey. Like the way she, like her
Go to the
whole
clip, go to the clip, go to the
situation.
clip.
Yeah,
Well, you're not going
I
to the
agree
clip. I'm
with
going
that.
to the song.
Okay, we gotta hear the
right
song
now.
first.
Yeah, I'm about to pull Mary J. Blige.
Oh,
Fresh lettuce.
I was about to say that's the song.
No, that's Meek. You see what I'm saying? I still got some Meek on my playlist despite what y'all saying.
No, when this clip come out, you ain't gonna be a Meek fan no more.
Meek? A clip from Meek?
Exciting things are
All right, hold on. Let me just cut it on.
How you just drop that? In
Yeah, like was that right?
Wait, say that again? I didn't hear what.
I said Meek. I'm not gonna be a Meek fan after this clip.
Yeah.
Or Mary J. Blige.
No, I'm saying the fan. People ain't gonna think you're a Meek fan after this.
This episode. No, because I
I'm
just
cutting that part myself. Hey, just put this online. Put it on my Instagram. You heard this?
no because we just got to make the differentiation between freestyles and commercial records. I feel like if more
But no,
Philly,
we're talking about verses.
if more Philly artists did that, we would have more bigger artists just in general.
If it's a verses, I get to do my catalog.
Because all Philly people defend freestyles. Oh my gosh, he made me feel like this.
Watch. All right, so when the clip makes sense.
What's in those new chicken snack wraps? What's in the new chicken snack wraps? Mary?
y'all.
That's a bop a little bit.
I'm sorry. Can I see it one more time? Because I just need to process. I need to process.
Y'all.
What's in those new chicken snack wraps? What's in the new chicken snack wraps? Mary?
They would say this was AI today. They wouldn't even believe.
I think on top of everything is badly like produced.
Yeah, it's
like,
terrible. It's
like
a bad
the video
commercial.
itself
Yeah,
is
she
bad.